will only open the door to irresponsibility by others.
I will now sign Senate Bill 1070.
No one give me chance for survival, yeah. And when I see Sheriff Joe, he swat to put him face on the floor. To all my people in the struggle who just trying to get. To all my people in the struggle who are trying to live. To all my people in the struggle who just want to survive. To all my people in the struggle, put your hands to the sky and say, trust me, I want to feel the pressure. From Mexicans and niggas when we become the aggressor. So we must find a way to unite and make them the lesser. Then it would take the whole damn world to arrest us. No, you don't want testers or happiness or upset us. Or we'll find a way to remind you that life is precious. See, we just want our freedom and the right to find success in the land of the free and the place where God bless. Read us.
We all know immigration is a divisive issue. Free markets rely upon goods and workers that move about freely, not restricted by artificial political boundaries. But to many people, the current wave of illegal immigration along our Mexican border represents a breakdown in the rule of law, of the normal, orderly process for bringing immigrants into the country. Arizona's state government has responded by ordering its police to check for illegal immigrants, even if federal officials are not doing so. The law has sparked massive protests, and I agree with the protesters. The law is unconstitutional, as it treats immigrants differently than the rest of the population, requiring them actively to prove, if stopped by the police, that they have the right to be in the country. Police presumably should only be stopping people if they have good reason to suspect them of a crime, not simply because they want individuals who they deem to be foreign-looking to present their papers, as is common in police states. Many conservatives, many of my friends, like this anti-illegal immigration law. But shouldn't we really be loyal to freedom and to free trade and to the Constitution and to equal protection and not just to police power?
Well, Judge, one reason is our law as it exists is unenforceable. In normal years, we've got an economy that's creating hundreds of thousands of jobs for lower skilled workers at a time when fewer and fewer Americans are interested in filling these jobs, you know, as janitors and as picking lettuce out in California and that sort of thing. And yet we're trying to stop this inflow of people by massive investment in border security. You know, have increased the number of border agents six-fold since 1986. And yet it hasn't solved the problem of illegal immigration. The answer can't be enforcement only. And then, of course, we're talking about compromising our fundamental rights as Americans.
He's not Latino, so I guess he must be jealous. You want to see my ID so you can check my legal status? How about I pull up and show you the apparatus? Don't need papers for that. So you hear the click clack. You invaded my hood. Where all my people's at? This is bang bang shoot 'em up in Wild Southwest. Go ahead and send me your best. I hope you're packing your vest. This ain't no way in hell you'll have me under arrest. You better call in distress. You know, call for backup. I'm a pissed off Latino. No telling how I'ma act up. You calling in a roundup? Well, I'm calling this
good law. Well, maybe I'm a dreamer, but I keep thinking about somebody out there who's going to take a position that seems practical, like a lot of these millions of people are going to be here. They're not going to be thrown out of the country. We're not going to do a roundup. That's not the way America works. At the same time, most Americans would like to see our laws enforced, and they'd like to see, if you come into this country, you only come into this country if you have the permission of this country to come into this country, to work or to live.
You are a dreamer. You are a dreamer.
Why can't we have a regular, progressive system that's enforced? I'm not a complete dreamer, because people like Joe Lieberman, who I disagree with a lot of times, and Lindsey Graham, who's a bit more conservative than I am, to put it lightly, both have a plan out with John Kerry to do the following. Real check on people to see they're not lying about who they are when they come looking for a job in this country. Strengthen the border if you have to. A process for temporary workers to come here and work and go back home with the money. And a path for the people who are here and have been here a long time to become American. That seems to be a reasonable, middle-of-the-road solution. Do you think the guys do you think people like Reid are really for it? Do you think the Democrats are really for it? The Republicans are really for it?
No, I don't. I think what they'll want is that last part, especially the pathway to citizenship, essentially the amnesty. And then all of a sudden, if you've snuck into the country, don't worry, we're going to give you that same privilege by making you what? Pay a fine? Baloney. It's not fair. It's totally unfair to do it that way. Well,
it may not be fair, but life is unfair. What do you do to a person who's been living here, raised kids here, has them in school, they've been here 5 or 10 or 20 years? What do you do?
Yeah, you go, I tell you, the only thing you can say to them is, look, there is a way to come into this country legally.
But they're already
and by
here.
The way, before
You're
we find
arguing
out,
about a world that doesn't exist. They're already here. They're already here.
But before we find out that you are here illegally, go home. Come back in the right door. That's what you said.
But that's not, you think that's going to happen?
Well, you know what? I'm a dreamer too, I guess, in that respect.
No, I'm not. I'm a dreamer because I'm hoping you'll reach a compromise on this, which basically recognizes reality. Yeah. You got to stop illegal. I'm a dreamer that the only country in the world that doesn't have a real border. You have to have some system of bringing workers in the country, which we need. Let them come in and go back home if they want to. And if people want to come in here illegally, they've got to go through a process which can be liberal, but they have to obey the law. That's what I believe. And I don't think we agree on what to do with people here already. I just want to make sure that in the future we have a country that makes some kind of sense.
System is alive and thriving in Arizona. 1070 is heartless. We need us an organ donor. Jan Brewer must be in a coma. She needs to come to her senses instead of a self-interest. This is one instance why I despise the government. Russell Pierce, Sheriff Joe, and them Republicans. I admit it, I don't get it how they look at things. They make a vein apply to Chavez and Dr. King. Racial profiling never been okay. Why you signing into law like it would be okay? Bad enough, cops stop us because of the cars that we drive. Worse enough, it's a recession. We're just trying to survive.
Will this law help curb illegal immigration?
It sure will. It sure will. I'm confident of that, and we're going to do it in a honest, professional manner like we all have been doing it. So
then could you explain to the country why the laws that you have been enforcing has not worked, and why but I'm asking how this bill you think will solve the immigration problem without exacerbating tensions. How do you feel this works? Because nothing that you've tried before has worked, Sheriff. You still have the problem.
No, I don't know. The problem is that a lot of people have left the this state. You come on back. We'll meet again in my office. We'll discuss the situation, person to person.
That's fine. But we're also going to test the law if it's there. Hopefully it won't be there, and either way we can meet in your office. But again, my fight is not with you. My fight is that we must protect the Constitution of the United States for everyone, whether they're black, brown, or white. That's the concern, and I think if you listen to the citizens in Arizona, or the Attorney General, or the mayor, you would find that that's all people are talking about.
No, they're talking about 75% love this new law. You know, do your research. They like this new law. So if the people that I serve like the new law, we're going to enforce the law.
Well,
Very
I don't know
simple.
that 75% like it or not, but I know there's been times that majorities in some states liked a lot of laws that were unconstitutional and immoral. Unfortunately, the Constitution is supposed to protect people even if they're in the minority. That's why this country aspires to be great.
They want to send me back, they want to see me gone. They can't deport us all, we gotta stand strong. Being Mexican shouldn't be a crime. Even if I jaywalk, now I'm out of line. They want to send us back to a genocide. Driving without a seatbelt, they want to give us life. They don't understand what these white devils doing. They're making our empire stronger than a Bible. It's degrading, how we're just sitting back waiting. Patient, as they cast us out like Satan. I'm debating. Hard as racial people slurs a statement, just be patient as I deliver my statement. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of races, Armado with the whole army of brown faces. They trying to take us out, but they never will replace it. You're gonna fuck around and get beat some new cases. I'm an AZ native, tell me why they hate it. They trying to lock us up and throw away the keep enslaved us, pull us over and ask us for our legal documentation. But I'ma flip the fuck out and leave them on the pavement. I'm hating every politician in the nation. You facing the biggest war in the nation, including every brown, black, white, brother, and Haitian. And there's a problem. Remember our faces, calmado.